Let's face it, AI is not around the corner, it is here today, and the conversation around it has gotten very noisy. Every day there's a new headline, a new tool, a new prediction about which jobs are disappearing and which industries are next. And if you're anything like the business owners that I work with, then you're probably feeling either one of two things right now. Either you're overwhelmed and not sure where to start, or you have been using AI a little bit, but you know that you are barely scratching the surface. Here's what I've noticed. The people who are panicking are not doing anything, and the people who are doing something are not panicking. And that gap is gonna get much wider very quickly. So today I wanna give you 7 skills, 7 ways that you can position yourself so that no matter what happens with AI over the next 2, 3, or 5 years, you are on the right side of it. These are not trends. These are not tools that'll be outdated in 6 months. These are durable skills that will matter regardless of what direction things go. And I saved the most important one for last. Skill number 7 is one that I think will stick with you long after this video is over. It's a simple test you can use to know whether AI can replace what you do. So make sure you watch all the way to the end for that one. And remember, this is not hype, this is not fear, this is practical stuff that you can start doing today. If that sounds like something you need to do right now, do me a favor, hit that like button so that more people can find this video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is a good time. I put out content like this every single week to help business owners cut through the noise and focus on what actually works. Okay, let's get into it. Skill number 1, use AI to get smarter, not lazier. I heard this analogy recently and I can't stop thinking about it. Using AI to skip thinking is like driving your car around the block and calling it exercise. You get the output, you get to the destination, but you didn't grow at all. And that's what most people are doing. They paste a question into ChatGPT, they copy the answer, they drop it into an email or document, and they move on. They got the output, but they didn't get any smarter. The people who are gonna win with AI are the ones that are using it to stretch their thinking. They're using it to research faster so they can make better decisions. They're using it to pressure test their ideas. They're using it to explore angles that they would have never considered on their own. And here's a practical way to do that right now. I use something called the RCTA framework, which I created, 4 letters, RCTA, and it changes everything about how you work with AI. It's a prompting framework. R is for role. Tell the AI what you want it to be, not just help me write something. Say, act as a direct response copywriter or act as a funnel strategist for a local service business. That shapes the entire perspective of what comes back. C is context. Give it background. Who is it for? What stage of the business are they in? What are the constraints? The richer the context, the less generic the result. T is for task. Define what you want done. Write, analyze, output, critique, build, whatever you want. Be as specific as possible with the output. And A is for ask. This is the multiplier. You say, before you begin, ask me any clarifying questions you need. That one line prevents wrong assumptions, generic outputs, and wasted time back and forth. It forces alignment before execution. So instead of saying, write me a sales page and getting some generic response back, you want to say something like, act as a direct response copywriter. Here's the context. I sell HVAC services in Florida. The task is that I want you to help me write a high converting landing page. And before you begin, ask me any clarifying questions you need. Now the AI becomes a collaborative tool instead of reactive. And this is how you get leverage instead of rework. Use AI every day, but use it to think better, not to think less. Okay, skill number 2, start creating before you feel ready. Most people spend their time online consuming, scrolling, watching, reading what other people's ideas are all day long. And there's nothing inherently wrong with learning, but there's a massive gap between consuming and creating. And in this era, the creators are the ones building leverage. Here's what I mean. AI has made it easier than ever to start. You can write a post with the help from AI. You can outline a video in 5 minutes. You can build a simple lead magnet in an afternoon. The barrier to putting something out into the world is basically gone. So why are most people still just watching? Because they're waiting to feel ready. They want the perfect topic. They want the perfect format. They want their website to be done. They want the perfect moment. And that moment never comes. Here is what I would tell you. Start documenting. Start sharing what you're working on. Share what you learned this week. Share a mistake that you made and what it taught you. You don't need a massive following. What you need is a content strategy. You need to start building a body of work that shows people who you are and what you know. And here is why this matters right now more than ever. People trust individual voices more than they trust institutions. They trust the business owners who show up every week and share real insights more than the polished brand with $1 million ad budget. That is a shift that is happening right now, and the people who are creating today are on the right side of it. You don't need to be an influencer. You don't need to be visible. Just start before you feel ready. The readiness will come from doing. Skill number 3, develop your taste. This is the one that most people are not talking about yet, but they will be. Here's the problem. AI can create virtually anything. Blog posts, images, videos, ad copy, emails. It can produce more in a day than you can create in a lifetime. So let me ask you this. When everything can be created instantly, what becomes valuable? I'll tell you what, knowing what is good. That's where the value is. I love this thought experiment. Imagine a library that contains every possible combination of every word ever written. Every argument, every idea, every sentence, it's all there. The library is completely worthless. Why? Because there's nothing that has been selected. Nothing has been filtered. Nothing has been looked at, and nobody has said this matters and this does not. And that's what taste does. Taste is the ability to look at 100 options and pick the 3 that matter most. AI generates, but you select. And that's the gap between those two things, and that is where all the value lives. So how do you develop taste? The same way you develop any other skill. You make things, you put it out there, you watch what lands, you study people who are better than you, and you figure out why their work hits differently. You go back and you make more stuff with sharper judgment than what you had before. Taste is not something you're born with, it's something you earn by doing the work. Number 4, build something people will pay for. Posting content's fine. I'm a big believer in showing up, sharing your knowledge, putting your perspective out there, but content in and of itself without a destination is just noise. The real move is building something with actual value behind it. A service, a product, a tool, a course, a community, a system that solves a specific problem for a specific person and is worth paying for. AI makes building easier than it's ever been. You can prototype something in a weekend, you can test an idea before you even spend $1. But here's where most people get it backwards. They build the thing first, then they go looking for the someone who's gonna supposedly buy it. You need to flip that. Find the person with the problem first, do the work manually for them, prove that someone is willing to pay for the solution, then use AI to scale it. And there's a big difference between building a feature and building a business. A feature is a clever trick that 6,000 other people can copy tomorrow. A business has a real customer, solves a real problem, and is tied to your judgment and your ability to deliver something that AI alone cannot. So build things, not just post. Moving on to skill number 5, learn to make people care. You've probably seen the advice that says develop your soft skills, communications, sales, relationship building, and all of that's true, but I think that framing undersells how important this actually is. The skill that matters most going forward is the ability to make another person feel something, to explain an idea so clearly that someone who is confused walks away feeling confident, to present your work in a way that makes people lean in instead of scrolling past, to sit across from someone and actually read what they need, not just what they said. Think about a great comedian. They're not just telling jokes, they're reading the room in real time. They know what section of the audience is engaged. They are adjusting their timing down to the millisecond. They know how that laughter bounces differently on a high ceiling rather than a low one. That's mastery, and it's not something that AI is even close to solving. Communication, persuasion, the ability to create genuine delight in other people, these are not just soft skills. They are the hardest skills, and they are the ones that will separate the people who thrive from the people who get replaced. So if you want to be irreplaceable, get good at making people care about what you do. Skill number 6, create stability so you can take risks. I know this one sounds like it doesn't really fit in with the others, but I think this might be one of the most important ones on the list. And look, I'm not naive about this. I know a lot of people are struggling right now. Inflation is real, costs are up. A lot of us are not sitting on a pile of savings wondering what do we do with it. I get it, but that is exactly why this matters more than ever, not less, because the people who are going to make the biggest moves over the next few years are not the ones with the best ideas, they're the ones with breathing room. And breathing room does not show up on its own. You have to build it, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's slow. That means getting serious about your financial literacy, understanding where your money is actually going, cutting the stuff that doesn't matter, skip the Starbucks latte, cancel the subscriptions you forgot you even had, only buy what truly matters to move your life, your family's life, and your business forward. I'm not talking about living like a monk, I'm talking about being intentional. Every dollar you keep today is a dollar that gives you options 1 year, 3 year, even 5 years from now. So build a cushion. Even if it's just a few dollars a week, that adds up. And when the right opportunity shows up or when something unexpected happens, you will be the person who can actually move. The person living paycheck to paycheck cannot. And here is a practical approach beyond just saving. Run a dual track. Keep the stable thing that pays the bills while you build the next thing on the side. Don't just quit your job to start a business. Bridge your current skills and your current network into new territory. Test ideas with real people. Get paid before you go all in. Risk management is not risk avoidance. The goal is to stay in the game long enough to win it. Build your safety net now, not next year, but now, because the people who have both stability and adaptability will move faster when things start changing. And finally, we've reached skill number 7, and this is the big one. Be the thing that AI cannot swap out. Here's a simple test I want you to think about. If you could remove the creator from the creation and nobody would notice the difference, then AI can replace it. A generic blog post about productivity, a stock photo, a templated email sequence, all of it is swappable. All of it is replaceable. But an essay from someone whose journey you've followed for years, or a recommendation from someone you trust, or a perspective shaped by real experience and real failure, that's not swappable. That value is tied to the person who made it. And this is not theory. Think about chess. AI chess is better than human chess. I think we can admit AI chess has gotten very advanced. And I'm sure there are AI chess championships happening every day, but nobody watches it. Nobody cares. But millions of people watch the 18-year-old kid from India become the next world chess champion because we don't pay for perfection. We pay for stakes, and we pay for human story, and we connect with humans. It's the same with music. AI can compose a technically perfect Mozart piece, but people still listen to Beethoven because he was deaf when he wrote his Fifth Symphony, and you can feel that in every note. The story behind the work is what gives it meaning. Your perspective, your trajectory, your ability to grow and change over time. Those are things that make your work irreplaceable. Build a body of work that only you could have made. That is the ultimate skill, and it's the one that nobody can take from you. So those are the 7 skills. Use AI to get smarter, not lazier. Start creating before you feel ready. Develop your taste. Build something worth paying for. Learn to make people care. Create stability so you can take real risks. And above all, be the thing that cannot be swapped out. You don't have to do all 7 this week. That is not the point. Pick one, the one that hit you the hardest when you were watching this, and that's the one where you should start. The one where you thought, yeah, that's the gap. Start there, get some momentum on it, then come back and pick the next one. Because here's the truth. 2 years from now, the people who position themselves are gonna be really glad that they did. And the people who just watched and waited are gonna wish they would have started sooner. The gap between those two groups is not talent. It is not even luck. It is timing. And right now, the timing is in your favor. So start now, start small, but start. Now, here's what I would ask you to do. If this video gave you something useful, if even just one of these 7 made you think differently, hit that like button. It's just a small favor to ask, but it helps more people find this, and I think a lot of people need to hear this right now. And if you're not subscribed, this is what I do. I help business owners cut through the noise and focus on what actually moves the needle: strategy, systems, and the stuff that compounds. So hit subscribe and don't miss the next one. Oh, and one more quick thing. Think about someone in your life right now who is stressing out about AI. A friend, a colleague, a business owner who you know is feeling stuck or overwhelmed by all of this. Send them this video. Share it with them. Sometimes the right message at the right time changes everything, and you can be that person for someone. All right, I will see you in the next video.